What's up, adventurers? Why did the rogue decide to become a bard? Because he couldn't get enough of those sneak performances. Okay, maybe that wasn't my best, so let's dive into something that is actually exciting. Today, I'm thrilled to share my thoughts on the early access version of Project Sigil, the upcoming virtual tabletop for Dungeons & Dragons. But before we embark on this journey, remember that everything I'm discussing is from a very early build. I'm one of the first people that have gotten access to it, so take this with a grain of salt, and perhaps a pinch of pixie dust. I also actually can't show you anything from my playthrough because there's kind of a strict NDA agreement for using the pre-released version. So all the footage you're going to see here is from already released content that you can find online. First impressions are important, whether it's the first time you're meeting your DM or booting up a brand new tabletop simulator. The visuals can make or break your experience going forward. And upon loading Project Sigil, I was immediately captivated by the stunning visuals. I found myself in a beautifully rendered pub, complete with intricate details like flickering candles, textured wooden beams, and even NPCs going about their business. Well, not really going about their business, because there's no real animations, but the tokens were there, the bartender was behind the bar, etc. The environment felt alive, and the attention to detail was second to none. What's more impressive is that my somewhat aging setup, an NVIDIA 1070 Ti and an AMD Ryzen 9, 64 gigabytes of RAM, handled it smoothly. I'm too poor to afford a fancy new RTX 82000 or whatever the latest thing is, but the graphics are so impressive that it feels like you're stepping right into a lower city pub in Waterdeep. I've not yet experienced a virtual tabletop with graphics this good, but the user interface kind of gives me a trip down memory lane, to the early 2000s, if you will. The user interface presented some challenges. I felt it was definitely dated. Some of the buttons lacked tooltips, and I found myself clicking around, hoping to discover their functions. There are these three little shapes above the character picture icon on the bottom left, and they clearly do something when you click them, but I really couldn't figure it out during my hour or so long session that I played it. Also, upon picking up a token, it would do this weird thing where it would automatically rotate it completely around, which was more puzzling than a Sphinx's riddle. You'd expect the token to maintain its orientation unless you choose to rotate it, right? Interacting with objects was also sort of limited. I tried to pick some stuff up on the table. I tried to open a door in the pub, but it wouldn't budge. I couldn't figure out if it was locked or there was a secret mechanism or you just can't open it. Maybe the tavern keeper didn't want adventurers snooping around, and I surely was going to try. The inability to interact with the environment really distracted from the immerse experience. Maybe this is my fault from coming from Baldur's Gate 3, but when the graphics looked this good, I really wanted to be able to interact with the environment. So then I ventured into the creative menu. At first it wouldn't open up, but eventually it did, and I hoped to find a plethora of assets to customize and build upon the environment that was already there. Unfortunately, the selection was very limited. I couldn't even locate some of the assets present in the pub scene. I've seen what Project Sigil can look like. The versions that they've shown off in their own material is cram-packed full of stuff. So it leaves me wondering why both the custom map-making mode and this mode is so devoid of anything to do. It felt like being handed a spellbook with only a handful of cantrips, which are useful and pretty, but not enough to really tackle the challenges or get a look at all of the work they've supposedly been doing. I also attempted to place set pieces outside the pub, but without global illumination, everything was shrouded in darkness. Unless you're planning a stealth mission under the cover of night, having to place torches everywhere felt really cumbersome. And if there was a global illumination slider, I was clearly missing it. Throwback to my problems with the UI and UX. And now let's talk about combat, the cornerstone of many D&D sessions. The attack animations and the spell effects here are mesmerizing. Clearly this is what they were trying to show off. Casting Magic Missile never looked so good. Cone of Cold, super amazing. The dice rolling animations also added a tactile feel that's often missing in digital platforms. The dice would literally bounce off scenery objects, although I did roll like 3 5s in a row. However, there were some quirks. Casting spells didn't seem to consume any resources. My wizard became an unstoppable arcane machine, firing off spells without concern for spell slots. While it's fun to unleash unlimited power, it doesn't really align with the balanced mechanics we know and love. Sure, You could argue that it isn't the responsibility of Project Sigil to manage your character's sheet for you, but anybody making this argument hasn't spent much time in a virtual tabletop where their players spend any free time they have drawing phallic symbols all over the map. Without actually consuming resources, players are definitely going to be launching spells all over, killing all the NPCs murder hobo style. And yes, spells and attacking automatically reduces HP for NPCs and players. Accessing character sheets was another kind of weird thing. I couldn't figure out how to do it. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not, but it should be more obvious. It made it difficult to track stats and abilities. The integration with D&D Beyond is hinted at where you can load in any existing characters that you have, but in this build, it really wasn't fully realized. The initiative tracker and token control were also less intuitive than I'd hoped. It really wasn't clear who is controlling which token. Granted, I was the only one there, but I couldn't find a DM mode or a player mode, and again, a common theme, if it was there, it wasn't very obvious. Adding characters to the initiative order was pretty straightforward, and I get it. You could have D&D Beyond open in a browser and it could roll in the virtual tabletop. However, switching apps like that is something that'll drive even the most dedicated players away. Speaking of dedicated players, if you're as passionate about Dungeons & Dragons as I am, and you want to support our upcoming live streams beginning in 2025, head on over to my Patreon. Not only will you gain access to amazing bonus content like giveaways and exclusive episodes, but your support helps us fund the upcoming campaigns, allowing us to do things like commission art from talented artists and create incredible set designs. Every bit of support helps to make a huge difference, so thank you in advance. The link is in the video description below. Back to Project Sigil. As a dungeon master who frequently runs in-person games, the potential for Project Sigil to enhance face-to-face sessions is really immense. However, in its current form, there's currently no indication of support for dual display setups, a feature that would allow DMs to manage their side while projecting a player view on a separate screen. Incorporating this capability would revolutionize tabletop gaming, merging the tactile joy of rolling dice and moving miniatures with the immersive visuals of a digital environment. Imagine being able to project a 3D map of a dungeon onto your gaming table like the one that I'm sitting at now, with dynamic lighting and spell effects enhancing the atmosphere. It'd be like bringing the world of D&D to life right before your players' eyes. And if you enjoy this discussion and want to be a part of the community, consider not only leaving a comment below, but joining my free Discord server. Engage with like-minded fans, share your own adventures, and be a part of the conversation. You can find the link to that in the video description below. Despite the current limitations, I'm genuinely excited about the potential of Project Sigil. The foundation is solid, and with the community feedback and continued development, it could become a cornerstone for D&D players and DMs alike. The visuals are breathtaking, and the possibilities for creative storytelling are vast. If they can address the UI challenges, expand the creative assets, and improve character and combat mechanics, Project Sigil could very well be the future for virtual tabletops. Moreover, the integration with D&D Beyond hints at more connected and streamlined experiences. Imagine importing your characters, managing inventories, and tracking progress seamlessly within the platform. It would make session prep and gameplay way smoother than a bard's silver tongue, if you know what I mean. And you might be asking, why did I bother making this video if it's in such an early state of development? Are you just trying to get views and hop on trends? Well, yeah, obviously, and don't forget to subscribe before I sick my pet mimic on you. But more so, I expected Project Sigil to be more complete at this stage than it feels like it is. They're selling premium tokens via pre-order bonuses after all, which leads many, myself included, to feel like the program is right around the corner. It doesn't feel that way. Hopefully this video serves as a benchmark for the improvements or lack thereof Project Sigil undergoes between now and however long it takes for them to drop the full release. And a quick word on monetization and accessibility. We all know that Wizards of the Coast will likely monetize Project Sigil. In fact, maybe likely isn't the correct word, they're definitely monetizing it. And if they strike the right balance with a fair price point and perhaps offer value-added services like access to 3D versions of sourcebook maps, it could make this platform not just a tool, but an essential part of the D&D experience. Right now, I can't see myself shelling out money for this program, especially without dual screen support for a dedicated DM and player view. But I desperately want to. Seriously, Wizards, give me a reason to be excited about giving you my money. It's beautiful, so don't let me down. For DMs and players alike, having affordable access to high-quality assets and features would enhance the game without putting a strain on the coin pouch. While there are certainly areas that need improvement, I remain optimistic. After all, even the greatest heroes start with humble beginnings. Often in a tavern, actually, not unlike the one here in this demo. And with a bit of that D&D magic, Project Sigil has the potential to be something truly special. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any future adventures. Your support means the world to me, and it helps keep this journey going strong. Until next time, my friends, keep rolling those dice, and may your quests be epic.